Okay, the Electrola L101 is now completed. I rebuilt the reproducer for it last night. And it is an HMV all brass. Those are custom gaskets in there because I don't like the ones sold for number 4s. So I had a friend of mine make some gaskets for me that actually fit correctly. Because usually when you go to the suppliers for gaskets for the number 4 reproducer, Electrola number 4, they're going to give you Columbia gaskets, which are close, but not exact. Now, they do use the same diaphragm, but the gaskets on the Columbia are a little bit thinner and a little bit wider, so you end up with a tiny fold in there, which I really don't like, and I end up having to snip little bits out of them and fit them in there like I'm rebuilding an exhibition. So, had these gaskets made, and they fit nicely, and I used them on these. Picked red for, obviously, HMV, because that was the original color. The original rubber gasket on this was one piece. It sort of wrapped over the diaphragm and it fit right in there, and real nice, I wish. I understand they do make them in the UK, you can get them, but they're a little expensive to import. And what I have actually works very well, so I'm not really inclined to start importing those. You can see his new isolator gasket back there, and that is his master's voice, the HMV number 4. Well, I have actually two 101. This is the 101L, as was pointed out by a helpful YouTuber yesterday. The Model L, not the Model C. Dust on there. This is an earlier version of the 101. Now you can see right away differences. This is the crocodile or alligator skin cover. Not sure what they consider that. And there are some obvious immediate differences you see. One, the clasp. This is the late style clasp, 1930 or 31. This is the early one, going back to the first 101s in 1927. Now the first 101s had the crank here in the front. I actually have a couple of those, but I don't have one here at the moment. Front crank ones, the earlier ones lacked the auto brake, and they mounted the crank, or the winding handle, right here on the side. And while over here, it has the 102 style mount, which is in the back, which they had to do to make room for the auto brake. They had to do that. This early model has a different motor in it. This is the model, number 59, if I remember correctly. I should have wrote down notes, I forget. Anyway, it's the one-piece motor, all nicely enclosed. I like these motors. Some people say they're a problem because they're aluminum. You know, some of the screws get stuck in the aluminum and all that. Maybe if it's been in a damp place for a long time. I never had a problem with them. You know, they come apart very easily. They're easy to service. They're very neat and very well protected from dust because they have that nice cover around them that seals the motor off from everything else. These are the older style motors. They trace their origins back to the HMV 100. And of course, another thing you'll notice on these had all brass reproducers, but this has the number 4 with the lettering right there visible through. I like how these look. Right there visible through the front of the diaphragm. So you can always tell them right away. The attributes of the early. Other than that, the case, of course, is the same. Other than the cover. Same dimensions. They have the same style of handle. The handle on this one has been replaced. It's not quite the same as the one used here. This is more of a 102 style handle. You know, there's numerous small differences. But overall, they are the same machine. There's nothing in there that really makes a huge glaring difference. Of course, these have the nice wood motor board. While the colored models, like the 102 would do later on, they wrapped them. They're covered with the same material as the case is covered. Well, I'm doing the reproducer testing now on this rebuilt. I just rebuilt it last night, and I always make sure to run some records on it because I want to make sure that everything is seated properly and nothing's sounding strange. So we'll give it a test, see how she goes. I've been playing a few different records on this. What do we have happening here? We have a chip or something in that record. Look at that. See, it's stuck in the first groove. Well, I'm also testing records along with the reproducer. All right, that's better.
Capri. She was as sweet as a rose at the dawning, but somehow fate hadn't met her for me. And though I sailed with the tide in the morning, still my heart's on the Isle of Capri. Summertime was nearly over, blue Italian sky above. I said, lady, I'm a rover, can you spare a sweet word of love? She whispered softly, it's best not to linger. And then as I kissed her hand, I could see she wore a plain golden ring on her finger. 'Twas goodbye on the Isle of Capri.
And the auto brake is functioning exactly as it was designed. As long as you have a record that'll allow it to. And there you go. There's a look at an Electrola. Even though Electrola is just the name on it, it's a 101. It's a 101L, the same as any other 101L. Made in the UK. And you have the earlier 101. This one does not have a tag. So I don't know for sure what the letter is on it, which model it is, but it is definitely, obviously a 101. Early model with the snake skin, or not snake skin, I keep saying that. Crocodile skin or alligator skin, I don't know, same animal with teeth anyway. Fake, obviously. This is not real skin on there. That would be prohibitively expensive for them to have produced. Even in the era before, regulation on when you could harvest those animals and how many you could harvest. And I have this in brown, and I have another one in blue. That's a more recent arrival that I'm still working on because it's missing the clasp, although it is fully serviced. And now the Electrola is complete. Next will be either another 101. I have been asked to take a look at one for somebody, or it'll be the HMV 100. Which is waiting in the wings for the same service. And there you go. Twin 101s.